Let's do it. Achoo!
You too, huh?
Where's everyone else?
Oh my god!
Hi, how are ya? I'm Fossil Daddy, and there's a new anti-woke animated sitcom called The New Norm, which condenses 4 years of right-wing grievances into one 4-minute pilot episode. And it's already being labeled as the worst thing ever made. And for good reason.
I gently suggested
Yelled.
they stop brainwashing my daughter that girls aren't girls and men aren't men.
Let's address the elephant in the room, the elephant being the Republican Party. No, I'm kidding. But the main character looks and acts exactly as you would expect. He's short, he's stubby, he has a wart on his face, which is like, I don't understand why they did that to him, and perpetually miserable and hateful. It's as if conservatives lack the self-awareness to realize that these traits are universally unattractive. Hey, Horace Collar.
Hey, Daddy.
Question, smash or pass?
Kim Kardashian.
Whoops, sorry, that was the wrong one. Hold on, how about this?
Bitch, are you fucking kidding me? Oh, Daddy, I wouldn't even touch that if I was paid to.
See, and this bitch would fucking smash anything.
Excuse you? Bitch, you may have a point, but also, fuck you. Absolutely not.
All of these qualities, the bitterness, the negativity, and the sheer unpleasantness, are exactly why people find characters like this so off-putting. And real-ass people, because let's be frank, these people do exist in real life.
She's recording me! Tell her to stop!
These characters often exist and embody the very worst aspects of humanity. Yet here we are, watching them parade these flaws as if they're virtues. This is exactly what you'd expect from a Twitter sitcom. And no, I will not be calling it X, despite the amount of pornography on there that I may or may not be watching. This is a new sitcom made for Twitter, of all places, and the amount of ass-kissing they give Elon Musk makes that pretty clear, and dear God, is it freaking cringe, but we are gonna get there. And it supposedly tackles conservative hot-button issues, with humor? Question mark. I guess it did kind of make me laugh, but I was more so laughing at it than I was with it. It stars conservative commentator Dave Rubin, because of course it does, and radio show host Larry Elder, because of course it does. And the show satirizes, in quotations, because satire is supposed to be funny with a certain air of empathy, topics such as gender identity, the Bud Light boycott, and LGBTQ officials in President Joe Biden's administration, because as of late, Mr. Muskie has made it his personal mission to destroy the LGBTQ+ community, and he's failing miserably because my queer ass is still killing it on his little platform.
I'm angry now. You messed with the wrong guy, buddy.
It's as if the show, if you can even call it that, is trying to say that queer people shouldn't even have jobs within government. Which is ridiculous, because if Marjorie Taylor fucking Greene can work in government, literally anybody else should be able to too.
Somebody's bleach blonde, bad built butch body.
Who are they reading?
The New Norm bills itself as a counter to the woke mind virus and has already gained massive traction, which unfortunately for Norm, isn't really a good thing. Since its Tuesday premiere on Twitter, the show's mini-pilot has amassed over 22 million views. However, these views are not from fans, and as soon as you go into the replies, oh my fucking god, it is a slaughterhouse in there.
What the fuck is this piece of shit?
In the roughly 4-minute clip, viewers are introduced to Norm, an ugly-ass father with a wart on his face, on house arrest for threatening his daughter's school after it taught that girls aren't girls and men aren't men. Which I have thoughts on, and I'm gonna get into that. But first, just putting this out there for my trans and non-binary viewers, you're valid, and don't let anyone ever tell you otherwise. Take anything that this show says, or anyone with views like it, with a grain of salt, because they are not worth your frustration. They are what's wrong with humanity, and the world will move on without them, and frankly, the world is a better place because you're in it. As scary as things may seem in the world right now, I promise you, things are going to get better as they continuously have been for decades. These people want you to be mad, and they want to get a rise out of you. But how can you be mad at something this incredibly stupid? But truthfully, I know you don't need a cis gay man telling you that, but just in case you needed to hear it, well, there you go. Alrighty, so we've established that this show is letting you know that it is transphobic as and that seems to be the entire premise. It sucks because trans people specifically have been seeing an uptick in hate on platforms like Twitter ever since Muskie took over. And in my opinion, it seems like this show was created specifically to fan those flames. He's also dialed back a lot of the protections that queer people used to enjoy on Twitter, all in the name of free speech. I know this personally, as every single controversy I've ever gotten myself into on Twitter has been the result of me saying that trans people are valid. Like, I'm not even kidding. It always starts a goddamn war. But I do gotta say that ratioing transphobes on Twitter has become somewhat of a part-time job of mine, so honestly, like, fuck these people.
Fuck you. Wake up! Okay? Wake up, dumb shit.
Can we also address the fact that conservatives are just so easily triggered? Like, they really thought that my last Roseanne video was a hit piece on Roseanne, because they saw the title, they saw the thumbnail, but then they didn't watch the video, but then they also left these comments. By the way, go watch my Roseanne video after you watch this one, Twink.
Just do as I tell you, Twink. Okay.
The plot point goes on to humorously reference recent real-life threats sent to schools through the actions of Norm and those like him, which actually isn't funny for a number of reasons. For one, I have a son in high school, and I worry every day that he may not come home due to some fucking crazy asshole like this dude. There are certain things that you just don't do, and they just had their main character do it. And somehow, we're supposed to root for this transphobic and threatening asswipe. But like, get the f*** out of here. Don't threaten schools.
Stop being a Thank you.
His house arrest is totally justified in my opinion, and the only thing funny about this is that the writers don't see the irony in that.
Warning, perimeter reached.
Ugh. It's your fault I got house arrest.
You're the one who threatened the school board.
They treat this like a gross injustice. It's weird.
It's getting weird.
Norm's wife, Janice, brings home Chaz, a non-binary person assigned to teach Norm how to overcome his homophobic and transphobic tendencies as part of his parole.
Actually, that is one of my pronouns. Also they, them, and me.
You're non-binary?
How do you know that word?
I learned it in school.
That's why I'm locked up!
Norm and his best friend Charlie, aka his conservative black sidekick, which Mr. Bertram also has. Actually, a lot of these conservative shows seem to give their main character a black sidekick, as if to say, we're not racist, we have black friends.
Well, I can say I have a gay friend. He came up.
They dismissively refer to Chaz as that, which happens to be one of their pronouns.
I don't understand. You're black.
Norm's daughter, whom, as far as I'm concerned, is the only likable character, takes an immediate liking to Chaz. The satirical characters we're supposed to hate, like Mr. Carponzi, smash, and Norm's daughter, ironically end up being the most likable, level-headed characters, despite being the woke libs that we're supposed to, be railing against. But the people who make these shows don't have the self-awareness to realize that their woke characters are actually the most likable.
Laugh out loud.
And that's really the only thing that makes these shows maybe a little bit funny. Like, why not make them the main characters? This is your main character. Why can you not see it? Reworking the entire show from her perspective could literally save this dumpster fire. I see potential in this one, but the writers, she's just a dumb woke kid. But, you know, this dumb woke kid has a lot of potential to learn and grow. And whether she becomes liberal or conservative down the line, you know, that would be an interesting angle to explore. Norm, though, there's no teaching Norm anything. Like, you can't have a main character that is unable to learn and grow. That, you know, like, I don't understand why they think these characters are so likable. It boggles my mind.
Voila, what do we have, ladies? A fucking clown. We are a stupid bitch. We are a fucking clown. This is the final look, ladies.
Also, just putting this out there, if we had a Mr. Carponzi-centered show, I'd probably actually subscribe to the Daily Wire and watch the fuck out of that. Smash. Sorry, he is one of my many types. And while I really hate to advocate for this, what choice are we left? You could always pirate. I also don't really understand the obsession with hating everything that the newer generations do. I mean, it's normal to cringe at some of the new norms, pun intended. I mean, I'm a parent, I kinda get it. There are things that I've seen from this new generation that I don't quite get, mostly on TikTok. But shouldn't we be celebrating how much easier it is for them, to some degree? Because we worked for that. We worked for their lives to be a little bit easier. And they're gonna continue working for that for generations that come after them. A little perspective. My coming out was harrowing. It wasn't easy, it was traumatic, and I still wear those scars every day of my life. Kids today are having a much easier time coming out than they would have in the 90s or even the early 2000s. For the most part anyway, it's still tough in some areas of the South and more conservative countries, but even there, they're still a little bit better thanks to the rise of internet spaces and support, and this is something that we should be celebrating. I'm happy that kids today can live a little bit more freely as who they truly are without suffering dire consequences, and for loving people of the same sex or gender. That is true progress. But f***ing Norm wants us to go back to the 1980s AIDS crisis.
Why not try AIDS? They work.
Oh, that's not...
In this...
Also interesting to note that Chaz could possibly be a nod to the Seattle Autonomous Zone, established after George Floyd's murder, or possibly Chaz Bono, Cher's trans son. But either way, it just seems to be in very poor taste. We also learn that Charlie's child is also transitioning.
Trouble at home?
My boy, or whatever it calls themselves now, is thinking about transitioning.
Reggie?
Try Regina.
Transitioning to what?
Another fumble!
Hopefully not a Jets fan.
Now you look stupid. You actually look stupid. And I'm embarrassed for you, to be honest.
I will use she, her pronouns for this fictional character that we've only briefly heard about. Also, I stan. Regina is a cool name.
Shove it right up your hairy...
Just don't get hit by a bus, Regina George of the Concrete Jungle. He blames Chaz for his kids transitioning, because with these people, it's always someone else's fault. God forbid their kids live freely as who they truly are.
Y'all influenced my boy to cut off his junk, but draw the line at beer?
You're jealous. You're insecure. No one that feels that great about themselves has to put others down the way that you do.
Oh, honey. Girl, security.
Chaz obviously struggles with the treatment that they receive because A, they're a child, and B, anyone else would too. From the moment they stepped into the house, Norm and Charlie have been nothing short of abusive to this kid. This prompts them to call members of the Biden administration. Sam Brinton, a non-binary former Department of Energy official and rightfully disgraced for 3 separate charges of luggage theft, which is weird. And it's also weird that they would include them because they are no longer relevant to any conversation. And they were also let go from their position for this reason. And as much as I may not like Biden as a president, at least his administration has some standards, unlike the last administration that literally had criminals running the government. They also have Admiral Rachel Levine, a transgender assistant secretary of the Department of Health and Human Services, who in real fucking life is a fucking badass, who has done so much work to ensure better treatment in healthcare for LGBTQIA+ individuals. And the creators of this show could never accomplish what this woman has accomplished in their fucking lifetimes, okay? I mean, just gonna put that out there, okay? Like, look at you guys. Your main accomplishment is making the shitty-ass cartoon that nobody likes. This trash fire reeks of conservative jealousy. Oh, and then there's also a man in a dog mask and fatigues referencing viral posts from military officials, I think. It's not very clear because this show sucks at making references. Or it could be a possible reference to the gay pup phenomenon, since this show is hell-bent on being very anti-gay and queer in every possible way. I don't exactly get the pup trend, to be honest, but I'm not gonna lie, it has turned my head on more than one occasion. Woof. The animated Levine advises Chaz to find a way to break Norm and fix the country, which, I just gotta say, I know people like Norm in real life, and they are a fucking lost cause. There is no saving these people. He's like a Walmart Archie Bunker.
She is a fat cunt.
Speaking of, his living room looks oddly familiar. Oh my fucking god. That really is just a badly drawn version of the All in the Family living room. Oh my god. Ooh. We've got the two chairs, the closet to the right of the staircase, the front door to the right of that. Like, conservatives can't even make an original living room, let alone original ideas.
Big bunch of losers, you're wasting your lives! Get a job, kiss a girl, do something!
In the end, Janice announces that they're all going to Disney World, declaring, it's a woke world after all.
We're going to Disney World.
Make America funny again.
It's a woke world after all. It's a woke world after all. You know, I actually just came back from Disney World for the first time in like 30 years, and for the record, yes, it is pretty woke there. I saw more gay men and queer people there than I did at a gay bar, okay? And I loved it. So do yourselves a favor and go to Disney World and don't watch this mess. Just go to Disney World. At the very end, the closing theme literally thanks God for Elon Musk.
This whole nightmare will end, thank God for Elon Musk.
Girl, once a year, a bunch of people get inside her and ride her down the street like a dragon. Like, that's really crazy.
That's what she said. And you know what? What was that?
I can't. Fuck X as a platform. Fuck X as a platform entirely. Oh my god.
This dude is so starved for praise and attention. Of course he's going to be in Twitter's first animated sitcom. He loves himself more than his own kids and parents do, and honestly it shows. He also removes the X with an actual X logo, but I'ma just slap Larry the Bird here instead. The old Twitter logo, that is, not the 7-foot-tall basketball player. Conservative satire often falls flat because it prioritizes pushing a narrative and agenda over genuinely entertaining viewers. True satire cleverly critiques and illuminates societal issues through humor and irony, inviting audiences to reflect and maybe laugh at themselves a little bit, giving them a little perspective.
Maybe you're the problem, you know?
Take King of the Hill, for example. While conservative-leaning, it's definitely highly entertaining, and not afraid to make jabs at its own expense. Or mine, which I appreciated. Pretty progressive by today's standards, really. It's true satire, and actually that show made me self-reflect on a lot of my own views.
An F in English? Bobby, you speak English.
However, conservative attempts at satire frequently devolve into heavy-handed messages and overt biases, which is pretty much this show to a T, really. Sacrificing wit and creativity for the sake of making a point and always failing to make that point in the process because they are not smart enough to make it. Don't even get me started on the theme song. It was created using AI, because of course it was.
The new norm ain't the same as the old norm.
I despise it. It doesn't even fit any standards, especially mine. Pity.
The software being Suno. How do I know this? Well, I'm gonna be bluntly honest real quick. I actually toyed around with this to see if I could make my own songs for my own videos. But then I snapped out of it and realized that that was really cringe. And I'm better off employing people with actual musical talent. Like, why have AI create something and take a job away from people who actually have talent? And you know, there are some boomers out there who are absolutely jamming to this, to this theme song, totally unaware that a robot created it. It is just so ironically funny to me.
The new norm ain't the same as the old norm.
Okay, so the approach that this show took alienates viewers who seek genuine humor and also undermines the essence of satire itself, which thrives on nuance and subtlety, which is everything the show isn't. In the end, conservative satire misses the whole goddamn target because it's more about preaching to the choir than engaging and entertaining a diverse audience. And yes, I just said the dirty D word. Dick! No, actually, diversity. Diversity, and that word, thankfully, should be here to stay, even though conservatives fear it.
Oh, God. I'm gonna go be an elf instead of celebrating this stupid fuck-up.